Let us remember that we're in the holy presence of God. We are so close to the end of the school year. And as we wrap things up and as we prepare for the summer, I'm reminded of the parable that Jesus shared of these lamp bearers whose master is off. He's out partying at a wedding, and they're supposed to stay back and make sure everything's ready for his return. And some of the lamp bearers, do a great job. They make sure their lamps are full of oil and that the wicks are well trimmed. And others kind of slough off and are negligent. And when the master returns, they're kind of embarrassed. Everything's kind of in disarray. Or I can remember when we were in Mexico, again, another Mr. Gale Mexico story. But when we were there, we would often go to different villages, rural communities, sometimes small, maybe as small as like 50 people to a couple hundred. And oftentimes we might give them a heads up saying that we're going to be here on this day. And the people of those ejidos or those small villages would spend weeks preparing. They would make sure their houses were really clean just in case us or the priest that we were traveling with were going to go visit their house. They would prepare all of this really good food, their favorite dishes, and often have this potluck, which they called a convivio, which means with life. Or they would make sure that the chapel was all clean and all set, maybe with fresh flower arrangements and everything in there as well. Or sometimes, they would even make sure that they had like their best clothes for when we showed up. Because it was a big, exciting deal. They would make sure that their houses were in order. They would make sure that their hearts were in order. They would make sure that their lampstands, like Jesus' parable, were all set for when things would come back and the master would return. As we enter into this summer, I encourage you and I challenge you, how are you going to prepare your house? How are you going to make sure that your lamps are ready and burning? How are you going to make sure that your hearts are prepared? For our upcoming school year, how are we going to make sure that we're staying fresh? Yes, we should take some time off and relax. But how are you going to help yourself continue to grow and to become the best version of yourself? How are you going to be the steward of your lives during these summer months? Live Jesus in our hearts forever.